This video is a full guide on how to offer stack so that you can become a rainmaker that makes $30,000 to $50,000 a month in high ticket sales consistently, regardless of your offer, regardless of how good or bad the marketing is, and regardless of what happens in the industry with AI and who knows what else. Now, most high ticket closers are playing this game on hard mode, inconsistent income, inconsistent months, and just completely at the mercy of whatever happens to be the marketing. Meanwhile, the top earners making 30 to 50K every month figured out how to switch it onto easy mode. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to put the game of high ticket sales into easy mode so that you have full control over your income and never depend on any marketing to feed you ever again. The days of having a fully inbound calendar of leads ready to buy are over. The days of objection handling your teeth off to get a prospect to buy are over. The days of asking questions so emotional that it feels like a therapy session are over. Those days are completely over. And the people who are making $30,000 to $50,000 a month in commissions consistently are not even playing the game that you are playing. They're not even calling themselves high ticket closers. They are calling themselves rainmakers. Closers who can go to any offer anytime and close any deal whenever they want to. Now, if you haven't met me, my name is Christian Jack. I've generated over $100 million in sales by the age of 26 while being on at my peak about 9 offers simultaneously. And to most closers, that is going to sound insane and or impossible, and I completely understand that. But you are probably not here to be a normal person. The only thing I expect from you is to not treat this like a YouTube video. Treat it more carefully than the last sales coaching program that you actually spent money on, because I can promise you that this one video is going to make you more money than most of the high ticket sales coaching that you have bought combined. And I can say that because I've personally gone through over 40 different sales coaching programs myself. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I was offer stacking to generate over $100,000 a month in commissions consistently, and how to build a sales career that did not only buy me a Miami balcony, it bought me the house, the cars, the lifestyle, and allowed me to retire at the age of 26 and live the life that I want with my family. Now, this is completely unconventional advice and is going to change the way that you see high ticket sales. This is the new sales order. Most high ticket offers are fundamentally inconsistent. The lead flow goes up 1 month, but then it is completely dead the next. And everybody knows the saying, it works till it doesn't. That's how it usually feels to go from offer to offer, and you find one that works for a little while, and then it dies off the next month, and then you're left in the water to find another offer again. And then the problem is that most salespeople treat this industry in all of its volatility like a 9-to-5 job instead of like a business. They hop on whatever offer they can get, stay loyal to it even when it's not performing, and then they only leave 3 months after it completely falls apart, because they still think like employees. And because of that, they continue to cap their own income without even realizing it. They get on one offer with one lead source, one marketing team that they have zero control over. They got sold the high ticket dream to get on that offer and take 2 calls a day and make $20,000 a month in commissions from the beach while wearing a bikini, whatever floats your boat. But let's be real. When you look at the full year, the income is never actually consistent. You have 1 or 2 great months and then back to square one on month 3 when the offer drops. And then to add on top of that, the skill is not there either. And without the skill, you can be on a great offer, but it won't matter anyway. And so then they never end up making consistent income, which was, let's be real, the entire reason that they got into sales in the first place is they wanted upside in a way that was consistent enough to build a future and build a family and eventually retire, while also having the freedoms that they wanted along the way. Now, a rainmaker is a sales professional who is not only skilled at selling, but actually understands how the game actually works, right? They're usually on multiple different offers and working with multiple different businesses, and sometimes even running their own business simultaneously. Every calendar hour is fully booked with genuine revenue generating activities. And because of all of that combined, not only are they able to make consistently 30, 50, 80K a month, but it's not just because they had a good month. It's because their income does not rely on any one offer or any one marketing team. They treat their income like a 3-legged stool, where if you only have one leg on it, it's going to be pretty darn hard to sit on that chair for any amount of time without falling onto your ass and breaking your arm and something bad happening, right? Whereas if you have 2 legs, it's a little easier. 3 legs, you're golden. And the math is simple, right? If 100% of your income comes from just one offer and that offer dies, you are completely done. If that offer, however, is only 30% of your income and it dies, then you just redirect that calendar space to another offer and you don't even have a bad month. And you don't even have to leave that offer, if you are loyal to them, if you like the business owner, if you like the manager, you get to stay, but just allocate a little bit less time, do them a favor, do yourself a favor in the process. I promise you, offer stacking is putting multiple offers on top of each other so your calendar is always fully booked and your income, therefore, is always protected. This is how you play the game of high ticket sales the way that it's actually supposed to be played in 2026. At the peak, I was generating over $100,000 a month in commissions while stacking 9 to 12 offers simultaneously. Some offers had high lead flow at lower price points, which were able to fill every single calendar spot that I ever opened for them. And then others were as high as 250K packages where I would only close 1, maybe 2 deals in a month. And that alone paid all of my bills and then some, just from a handful of calls. But it did not start like that. It started on one offer where I was crushing it and I was able to make 10, 15 grand in a month. And then the marketing went down. The calendar dried up overnight and I did not have the savings or the backup to handle it. And so now all of my bills were dictated by an external event that I had zero control over. And so that moment triggered everything else. That's where I started looking for a way to make sure that that never happened again, right? At that time, stacking multiple offers was not a common thing at all. It wasn't really even talked about, but I did find one person who was doing it consistently and winning from it. And so I paid them for their time. I learned what they did. And at that point, I went from one offer to 2. I learned the system and then I stacked another one and I learned that system. And essentially I just kept going, swapping out the lowest performing offer at any given time, much like how managers run sales teams, right? You just swap out the lowest performer. If you can train them up, great. If not, boot them, get them in with another top performer. And so in doing that, I had to restart a couple times along the way, but ultimately, I did not stop until I was hitting 9 offers, 10 offers, 11 offers simultaneously, where I was figuring out the systems, the time management, the calendar, all of it just through trial and error, realistically. The reason was never meant to flex to other people. It was just completely strategic. It was built to protect my income and maximize every single hour that was on the calendar for me so that I could have ultimate leverage and ultimate consistency at the same time. Now, to be clear, most closers are going to hear this and immediately want to go and stack offers. But before you do anything, you need to understand this. Do not do this if you are not actually good at sales, right? If you are bad at sales and you stack even 2 offers, let alone 3 or 5, all you are doing is you're spreading the word that you are bad at sales 5 times faster across 5 different offers simultaneously. And word travels fast, so get good first. And if you want to get good and you don't want to spend $10,000 on a program that gives you 0 implementation, the Sales Dojo is a free trial and $172 a month after that. I've personally gone through over 40 different sales programs, invested over $1 million in sales training. This legitimately is the best one. Also, you need to know you should never be lying, all right? Never tell an offer that you are going to be full-time if you are not. Never lie about what you are doing or where you are. Lying it very rarely works in your favor and it almost always catches up to you and it catches up real fast. Number 2 is never burn bridges, right? Never leave an offer in a way that damages your reputation or your relationship with the manager, the business owner, the team, okay? High ticket sales at the top level is a genuinely very small industry and the word travels faster than you might think. Your reputation is everything and a bad one is one of the hardest things to recover from. And number 3, don't think of this as a hit and run strategy. Offer stacking is not about jumping on offers and leaving them when something better comes along. You are here to help every offer that you are on and provide a service and build your brand, not hurt them, okay? Always be the top closer in the room, always show up, always deliver, always go above and beyond. And just as much as bad word travels fast, good word does as well. Now, if you are not maximizing the potential of your current offer, then you are not ready to stack, all right? We're talking upsells, referrals, follow-ups, confirmations, close rate, like all of it. Be very real with yourself here. The biggest lever that you can pull is very rarely a new offer. Okay. It is doing everything that you're supposed to be doing on the one that you are already on, right? You're going to have to go through any new offer that you join. You're going to have to learn about their product, their marketing, their unique mechanisms, the history, the stories, the client testimonials. All those things are going to be brand new for every offer that you come on. And while your sales process can transfer, a lot of times there are slight differences that you have to learn. So you may as well maximize all the work that you've already done by getting on the offer you're on, learning everything you need to learn to just get good at sales and make more money on it before then stacking on another one. Because if you are doing everything that you need to do and there's still white space on your calendar, there's very little leads or the very low urgency or the income is inconsistent, then you might be ready to stack. And so when you are ready, here's how to think about it. The core offer and the secondary offer framework is one where, you want to have one offer that can fill any open slot that you have at any time. And then you start adding higher ticket, more pricey offers with more upside and less call flow on top of that, right? You want to start with something that can give you that stability. Yes, it's going to be a grind. Yes, it's going to take some time, but genuinely, I think of it this way. If you can have one offer that you use 50% or less of your time on, and with that half calendar, if you will, you can actually pay your bills for the month, then that's a good offer. And that's something that you can use as your base. If they can fill up half your calendar and with half that time, you can cover your bills and commissions each month, then you're good to go. The second principle here is something that my dad actually taught me when I was a kid. I would climb these big tall trees, and of course my parents were scared to death that I would fall 30 feet and die, rightfully so. And so my dad gave me a piece of advice that said, never let go until you have a solid hold on the next branch, right? Very, very simply put, this means never randomly leave an offer to jump to another one. Like, as much as you can, hold on to that branch until you have a very solid grip on the next one. Hold on to that one offer until you have a very solid grip on the next offer. And I'm not talking about getting hired. I'm talking about making consistent money, right? Never randomly leave an offer to jump onto another one. Like, take calls in the evenings if you have to. Take calls on the weekends. Slowly build up the second offer, and once it is solid, then switch over 1 hour of work from the second into the first, or vice versa, right? And then you do it another time, and then you do it again, always step by step. Don't let go of the first branch until you have a very solid hold on the next one. The third bit of advice I would give you for this is try not to change your avatar too much. If you sell a BizOp, stack another BizOp. If you sell tax planning and BizOp at the same time, one is a very logical sale to very sophisticated prospects, and then one is a lot more emotional sale, and the context switching is going to be brutal. All right, so master one specific ICP before you start mixing, and then once you have that mastered, then you can stack on other ICPs for more upside or learning opportunities or whatever it might be. I do think it's a fantastic idea to get really good at BizOp or something basic, something easy, make consistent money with that, and then stack on, something that's maybe more sophisticated prospects, higher ticket, gives you more upside, because you're going to suck at it at first, realistically, or at least you're going to have to allocate a lot of brain power, a lot of time in order to learn that and, test and iterate in order to make any sort of sales and therefore stay on the team and, have it be worth your time. So best advice, master one specific ICP before you start mixing. Also, never drop your follow-ups, your admin, your referrals, your upsells. Like, these are legitimately the easiest money you will ever make. So never let them slip just because you are adding on more offers. If anything, prioritize those above hitting new leads. Every offer you go to should have a specific purpose, right? Closers who only focus on the money never consistently make it. And so start thinking about your offers in a way where, kind of like a business thinks of different lead flows or different offer pathways within the business. Each one has a different role. One offer might have really high lead flow, right? This fills your calendar whenever you need it. Another offer might have a really high price point. So only 4 to 5 calls a week at $25K or $50K, $100K a piece. You close one and that's, $10K from using barely any of your time. Network is another great one. I joined an offer back in the day just to work with a specific manager that I wanted to learn from. ICP mastery is another great one. If you want to master a new market, join an offer in that space specifically. If you know you want to go and do a specific thing with your life, go and do that as well, right? Every offer that you take is not just a job, it is a deliberate step towards building your career. Now, if you think about it this way, employees pick the offer that pays the most right now. They just look at the numbers, they're like, oh, I can make more money here, I'm going to go and do that. And that is why they stay stuck. So instead, stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a business owner. Short-term thinking and long-term thinking. Short-term is, can this get me to like my next reasonable step on the pathway to my goal? And then the long-term thinking is, does this genuinely serve as the next building block of my success hitting those long-term goals that you want for yourself? Whether it be money, whether it be freedom, whether it be retirement, whatever it might be, up to you. So now you might be at the point where you've actually decided that it is time for you to join another offer. How do you know whether it's going to be legit? These are the basic numbers that I like to ask before joining any offer. Number one is not only, I'm going to ignore the obvious ones, by the way, like of course, ask cash collected, revenue generated, blah, 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 blah. But also something very important. Number one is how many closers are on the team. If the offer is doing $1 million a month, sounds fantastic, but how many closers is it taking to do that? Is it 20? In which case each closer is only making $5K a month. Probably not the best offer to be on, right? But if it's 3, great. Could be fun. Could be lucrative. Number 2, what have closers made in the last 3 months? The best closer and the worst closer. I want to know both, and I want to know what they have done each month, not just, the OTE, not just what they say they're making. I want to see actual pay stubs. I want to see actual payments, if at all possible. And I want to see the best closer because I want to know what I'm shooting for, right? And then worst closer, I want to see what is the worst case scenario. And it'll also open up some questions for me to ask the manager or the owner about why they're not making very much money, and kind of see where their headspace is at with that. Number 3, how many calls are those people taking and what is their close rate? I don't particularly care how much they made as much as I care how much work they needed to put in order to make that amount. If I'm to come on an offer and the top closer is making 30 grand in a month, it's cool. Realistically, I know I'm going to be able to make more personally because I know my skill set. So I just need to know how much time am I going to need to put in order to make more? And is that worth it given the other offers that I'm stacking? Right? Because it's not just about the close rate, it's also about show rate and slot utilization rate and where the leads are coming from. And when you start the offer, do you get shit leads and then have to work your way up? Like there's a lot of different processes there, which leads me into the next point. Where are the leads coming from? Are they organic? Are they paid? Are they referrals? And how have those sources been performing over time? Again, I don't just want to know this last month. This last month might have just been a unicorn month out of nowhere. You never know. Next is, what is the company return on ad spend? And is the owner looking to aggressively scale, or are they comfortable where they are? Very important. Next is refund rate. How many people are actually, coming back and wanting to get their money back? That's kind of a big deal. See how client success is. And then last but not least, how many clients are actually coming from referrals? This doesn't particularly mean too much for me aside from how much am I going to be able to use the other closers' pipelines and call their leads in order to get referrals, because that can be a significant upside, at least for a little while, until management starts to catch on and they're like, oh shit, Christian's making 40 grand a month just from asking for referrals from the other closers. Maybe we should have our closers do that, and they systemize it. So it can be a quick cash grab, not the highest priority on the question list. Now, worth noting, some offers have very strict management. They have mandatory team meetings. They have strict KPIs. They have heavy oversight on everything that you do. The main thing that I would say for this is, if you are offer stacking, you need leadership that is results focused. And as long as you're above KPI and crushing it, they typically will give you autonomy, right? None of this works, for the record, if you're not closing. So that always has to be the foundation. You need to be results oriented yourself first before you ask somebody else to be. So if you are getting great results, if your close rate is above the team, if your DPL is above the rest of the team, if your efficiency level is well above the team, if you're a great culture fit, you're responsive, you do all of your admin without being asked, like everything is handled, then you can ask, right? I've joined some of the top offers in the industry, ones where you absolutely know who they are, come on, and they are well established. They've been doing this for a long time, and every single person they hire has to join the team meetings. Ya boy doesn't. None of them. Never showed up to one. Just because I come in with a reputation and I uphold that reputation once I'm inside with my results and with my culture and with my ability to just do the job and be a professional at the end of the day. Now, how to know whether this offer actually serves your goals? There's 3 main questions to ask. Number 1, does it satisfy your short-term income goals, right? If your goal is to make, let's say, 100K a month by the end of the year, it's August right now. So we're probably going to need to ramp this up over time. Let's say you're at 40K a month now. Does this actually allow you to get to that 60K a month range? If not, it may not necessarily be the right offer, but it doesn't mean it's a full disqualifier. So then the second question is, does it serve your long-term growth goals? Does this actually take you a step forward towards the life that you want to live? Most people who are in sales kind of just fell into sales out of nowhere. It's not like they want to be a salesperson for the rest of their life. Although people who do, they usually do incredibly well. So to be fair, don't shy away from it too much. But does it serve your long-term goals? Are you wanting to start your own marketing agency one day? If you are, then even if this doesn't let you hit your short-term goals, maybe it just gives you access to working in a marketing agency so you can see it firsthand. Maybe you're learning from a sales manager that runs his own sales agency, which means that he's doing marketing for himself, and you can kind of work with him and get in tight together. That can be a really great helper towards getting towards your long-term goals. And then the third question you have to ask is, did this offer satisfy both 1 and 2? And if the answer to both is not yes, then you got to keep looking. That's it. Now, this can be tricky because there are a lot of crappy offers in the space that are full of BS in their job posts and lying and inflating OTEs. If you've been in the space, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So number 1, don't go looking on job boards. They are all shit. I promise you, every single one that I've seen is absolute shit. You don't want to go into Facebook groups. The best offers come from 2 things. All right. Number 1, being genuinely good and showing that you're genuinely good, whether it be through just the people on your offer talking about you, or whether it be through posting your results and creating a personal brand, or whether it be from, being inside a community as an example and posting your deals as you close them. Everybody in that group, all 500 of them, know that you're a fucking G. All right. That's number 1. And then number 2 is kind of an add-on to that. It's having a genuine network of people who are willing to refer you, who know you, who at least know that you are a professional at what you do, right? Unicorn offers want unicorn closers. If the offer is more in demand than you are, that's kind of a problem. So see if you can fix that first. Get good, get connected to closers who are making serious money, sales managers, offer owners, sales trainers, recruiters, agency owners. Just get around good people. Let them know that you're good at what you do. Usually indirectly is better than directly. Don't just pitch somebody, but that's the gist. Now, a perfect case in point of this was back in the day, I coached sales managers. I had, 20 to 50 of them on a call at any given time, talking to them about how to make more money as a sales manager, get their teams performing better. And that was one of the best ways for me to network and get my name out there, was just coaching the people who hired people. And so not only was that good for my network, but it can be good for yours as well. If you'd like to take advantage of the work that I've already done, these people come to me every single day asking for closers because they know that I am now not doing any management training. I am only doing sales training. So I have all these closers who are looking for offers, that are well trained, that are professionals, that follow all the advice that I've given up until this point in this video and all my other videos. So if you want to get in front of the best sales managers in the space who are actually hiring the best closers and making them great money, join the Sales Dojo. We do have a job board, but it's not exactly a job board. It's usually just those managers sending me a message and saying, hey, I need somebody I can trust. So that's usually where the best job offers come from. They're not on the job boards. They're just individual personalized messages, and I just happen to pop them into a group chat to see if anybody's there that wants it. So if you want to join, link down in the description below. Now, when you're interviewing for offers and actually getting the role, I know I said this before, but I'm going to say it again, never lie. All right. Don't say that you're going to be full-time and you're actually part-time. You are a piece of shit if you do that. Don't do that. What you say matters, and how you say it actually matters a little bit more. Right? Everything is negotiable, including whether you're full-time or part-time, meetings or no meetings. Like, I promise you, 20 calls producing more than their best closer who is taking 100 calls. When you do that, you write your own terms. Now, when the manager pushes back, because it happens fairly often, and sometimes they're doing it on purpose, by the way, treat it like a sales objection, because that's what it is. If they say, hey, you have to be full-time if you're working here, you now have a rare opportunity to show your sales skills, to show that you see the objection and that you're not just going to accept it. And a lot of times I'll say, I didn't even necessarily overcome their objection, but they just saw me push back and they're like, I like this guy. I want him on the team. It means that he's a no BS person. Maybe it's where you start by having lower leads. Maybe it's where you start as full-time. Maybe it's where you start by attending meetings and then you can earn your way out of it. That can happen as well. But let's be real, you are a salesperson. I'm not going to say convincing people is your job, but it kind of is, right? So start with your manager. Some managers, I will say, think that full-time exclusive is the only way, and that's just how they were trained. Shift their perspective just like you would with a prospect, right? Can I offer you a different perspective? Don't use that line, by the way. I'm just using it for the memes. Anyway, show them why hiring you on your terms beats hiring anybody else on their terms. If you can do that, you'll win. You won't have any sort of babysitting. marketing. You'll be well above KPI. You'll handle your own admin. I promise you, you do those things, you will get to do your own negotiation. So be that person first, and then you'll be able to pick your own terms. Now, when it comes to time management on multiple offers, this can be where things get a little sticky. All right. So number one, go slow. Do not hop on multiple offers. If you've only ever done one, don't hop on 4 all at once. All right. Go slow. Stack them one at a time. Get consistent with each one along the process. I'll say that is one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn early on is I started stacking a little too quickly and I had to scale it back and then come back with the right systems and the right processes. Number 2 is color code your calendar. All right. If you color code your calendar, it can be very easy to see what offer is next at a glance. Number 3 is know your pre-call prep per offer. Okay. You don't want to be context switching midday as much as humanly possible. You're going to be selling different offers. However, if you have all of your other processes down to a T where you don't have to think about it very much, and you have a system for it, that's fantastic. The next thing to realize is that offer stacking is a form of loyalty. Most people view it as the opposite. They feel like stacking multiple offers isn't very loyal. It's not going to cause you to work very hard on any one of the offers because you'll just, switch to another offer with all your time and energy. It's actually the most loyal thing that you can do. You are going to do more work and bring on more effort for yourself and more mental load by stacking on another offer so that you can continue to stay on that first offer, even through their bad marketing months. Even when nobody on the team is making money and they're all leaving, you won't even have to leave. You'll just reallocate time, but you're still there. You're still in Slack. You're still staying. You're still taking the few calls that you can. You're still outbounding here and there. And meanwhile, everybody else left. You're just able to make your money elsewhere while they get their feet under them again. You have no idea how much founders actually appreciate that. Managers as well. Again, I'll say disclaimer, you have to perform well. You have to close when money's on the line. If you don't do that, it doesn't matter. Next up is knowing your numbers, right? You have to know how much in commissions you're making per hour. You need to know your slot utilization. You need to know which offer basically gets priority this day, this week, this month based on data and not just based off of gut feel. The tool that I use for all of my calendar syncing is Reclaim.ai. I'm not affiliated with their team or anything like that, but I will say that's the system that I've used. It does show as busy whenever you get calls on your other calendar so that you don't get double booked across offers. That can be a massive headache, and it doesn't leak any sort of client information to the various CRMs, which could be a massive legal headache otherwise. So it is free for doing up to 2 offers. You stack anything past that, then you're going to have to pay for it. I was doing, I'd say probably 70 to 80% close rate. At this time, I was doing about 30-minute calls, including the full close and taking payment and wrapping up after payment, solidifying the deal, all that sort of stuff. The numbers start to get pretty insane when you can do 30-minute calls, closing 70 to 80%, and then you stack on 3, 4, 5 offers at once. Now, this is where things can be a little bit more complicated. I'm going to say I'm going to tell 90% of you to just skip this next section. You are not ready for it. Can't even handle your own shit, let alone bringing on team members. But if you are ready for it, if you have your systems in place and you can do all of the stuff on autopilot, then it might be time to bring on an assistant or 2 or 3. Right? The goal of having an assistant or having a team with you is very, very simple. More time on live calls and less time on everything else, right? At my peak, I had 3 full-time VAs handling everything that was not a sales call. We're talking follow-ups, referral asks, call confirmations, upsells, calendar management, admin, texting and emailing, getting people, everything, all right? These things must still get done. If you drop them because your VA dropped them, it's your reputation on the line. It's still you that's hired by the offer. So your VA is just there to help you. You must be able to take responsibility for their performance. That is how you get fired from your offers and your numbers tank, is if you're not very good at hiring and maintaining, having a team with you and taking responsibility for their actions. So start with one VA, train them well, give them clear SOPs so that ultimately the goal is that your only job is to be on calls talking to a prospect at all times for the full 12 hours a day that you're working, or 16 or 8 or 5, whatever it might be for you. Everything else gets delegated. So full SOPs and for training your VA are available inside the Sales Dojo on the free trial. Now, when it comes to referrals, I found that most closers just completely skip this. So don't be that person. Ask every single person that you talk to, whether you closed them, whether you didn't, whether they're an existing client, it does not matter. Don't just wait until day 14 inside the program when they've gotten good results. That just gives you more work to check in on all of the people that you've closed and their progress and how they're doing. Let's be real. You don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. So why would I spend my time doing that? Just ask them right away. Who do you know, right? Rejection just means that they said no. You are not losing anything if you ask and they say no. So you may as well just fucking ask. Also, you get to negotiate your commissions on self-generated leads. Need I say more? Go to your manager and say something like, if I self-generate a lead, can I get the ad spend that would have gone to marketing on that deal? Or maybe even just 50% of it. I guarantee the company is already paying $1,000 in ads just to generate like a showed appointment sometimes. Sometimes it's $1,000 just to acquire the client, just to close a 5K deal. I promise you, they're going to be fine with if you take 50% of that cost and you just take it as extra commissions for yourself. Like, why not give it to you instead of Meta, since you did the work that Meta did anyway? I'd say somewhere around 30 to 40% of my commissions were on referrals, and I would get sometimes 30 to 40% commission percentage on those deals that I generated at smaller companies. Worst they can say is no. The best is yes. And let's be real, it might just be an extra 5% on the deal, but if you're selling a 10K product, you usually get 10%. An extra 5% goes kind of a long ways, extra $500. Next up is you need to make sure that you train your VA, if you do have one eventually, to ask for referrals on every interaction and to follow up all the time. So you want to ask for referrals as soon as you close the deal or as soon as you get off the call with somebody and don't close a deal, and there's a follow-up, but then have your VA take over from there and literally just ask them every other day, every third day, slow down the cadence as time goes along, but now it's happening at scale without you having to lift a finger. And I'll be honest, if you know how to pitch, if you know how to really sell to somebody and educate them on the opportunity and the vehicle and all that sort of stuff, referrals are mostly laydowns. They are easier to close, they usually spend more, and they move forward more quickly than the first person who came along because now they have a referral from their friend, from their contact. Now, I saved this part for last because it is probably the highest leverage thing in this entire video. Find one setter that you trust and bring them with you to every offer that you go to. I did this with a setter that I met on one of my first offers that I ever sold, and we went to a lot of offers together. Not every single one, but damn near every single one. And together after that, we had 90% plus show rates. Sometimes literally we would go a full month with 100% show rate. I kid you not. I would have 80, 90% close rates, 100% close rates sometimes as well. We would just clean up, especially at webinars and events where numbers were even more lucrative. We would close more in 2 days than the rest of the team would sell even combined in a month. And the other sides of this, I will say, is there's no retraining. There's no, he already knows how I close, right? You already know how they set. There's zero warm up needed. And instead of relying on a random setter who, let's be real, usually setters are like 18, 19-year-old kids, 16-year-old kids getting into this industry with very little experience and very little skill set, much love, but let's be real, that's usually what it is, right? Instead of relying on some random setter on every new offer, you bring your own weapon, and you both are very happy with your role. They aren't wanting to become a closer at some point. You are a closer, you take care of each other, you make similar amounts of money because of it, you incentivize them, they incentivize you, you go meet in person and train and vacation, do all this sort of stuff. You get a friend out of the process. The offer gets a duo that already operates like a machine, and that is almost impossible to compete with when you are interviewing at offers or when you're applying for roles. So, high level tactic. I will say most closers will not do this, but that's part of why it works. Now, something to be mindful of, just a bit of a downside, bit of a disclaimer for this. If you have 4 calls back to back and you want to leave the offer because of those 4 calls that go poorly, that is emotion talking. It is not logic. So please, 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 if you take all of this advice that I've given you in this video and you run with it, watch the numbers. All right? The numbers will tell you whether to stack, whether to stay, or whether to leave, not your gut, not your emotions. Do not trust that. Treat your gut, treat your emotions as an indicator, but not necessarily as reason, okay? Most closers operate entirely on feeling And that's exactly why they stay stuck in this industry. So track your commissions per hour for every offer, and that number will tell you exactly where to put your time and your energy, and you'll be optimizing for real leverage. The offer that feels good is not always the offer that pays the most per hour. Stop making career decisions based on how you feel and start making them based on what the numbers actually say. Also, to be fair, when you're offer stacking, you cannot afford a 9-to-5 worker mindset. A professional athlete shows up and performs every single day. Not when they feel like it, not only when the leads are good, every single day. You are not a high ticket closer with a job. You are an LLC. You are Joe LLC, Ahmet LLC, Christian LLC. You have your own lead sources and you close deals and you do the marketing on the call. You run your own operation. So start thinking like a business owner. Short-term and long-term thinking, revenue streams, systems. You have a team to support you, because I promise the moment that you start seeing yourself as a business instead of an employee, everything will change. But you have to actually go and do it, not just talk about it. It sounds great to talk about. It's harder to do. Now, the goal of this video was to open your eyes to a completely new level of thinking about sales. This is how the top 1% actually operate, and now you know. Most people, however, will watch this and do nothing. Again, do not be that person. If you want to build this the right way, the skill set, the network, the offers, the systems, I have put everything you need in one place. There's a free trial to start, and then $172 a month after that. Everything you need is in there. No excuses. I hope to see you inside. If not, I'll see you in the next video.